Hey, this is Mr. Wynn. Today I'll be doing a Chapter 2 test review. Remember, these are 20 questions like your test, all multiple choice. Feel free to try them with me. I add some commentary, but this is optional. This is not an assignment. This is not doing class. It's just extra test review. Number 1, find the range of the relation. Then determine if it's a function or not. First, the range is the y. So I have 3, 3, and 5. And they don't like repeats, so it's definitely not A, it's not B. 3 and 5 is C or D. Now, is this a function or not? Remember, a function cannot have repeating x's. So I need to look at the x's now. I have -2, -1, and again, -1. Since there's two -1s, this is not a function. The answer is D. All right, number 2. Find f of -1 if f of x equals that. Well, this -1 is where x is supposed to go. It's in parentheses, so I'm just plugging in. It's basically saying if x equals -1, what is x squared minus 4 over x plus 2? So if I plug in -1, so see -1 squared minus 4 over -1 plus 2. Exponents first. -1 squared is +1 minus 4 over -1 plus 2. And I'm going to go sideways now. 1 minus 4 is -3. -1 plus 2 is +1. That just makes -3. Answer here is G. 3. Find f of A if f of t equals that. Well, look, inside the parentheses is A. That's what I'm going to plug in. So wherever t is, I'll plug in A. So it'll be a squared minus 2 times a minus 2, which we actually don't need the parentheses here, so just a squared minus 2a minus 2. This was D. All right. Number 4, which equation is linear? Remember, linear means x and y have first exponent, nothing else. So this is an inequality. Inequalities don't count. This is x squared. That's quadratic. This is y squared. That's nothing. So here, that's linear. It's a line. Y equals 3 is a horizontal line. So remember, linear looks like this. So here's the line. Y equals 3. If you need this, this is a U shape. This is a line with some shading for F, and J would be a really complicated thing. All right, 5, write that in standard form. Remember the rules for standard form. No fractions or decimals. A has to be positive, so I need to move that x to the other side. And x and y on the same side, C has to be by itself. The number without letter has to be on its own side. So add 5x to both sides. Positive 5x plus 3y equals -1. That's the answer. That is A. Find the x-intercept and y-intercept of that graph. Hey, that's standard form. Standard form is nice because that can find you the x and y-intercepts really easily using the cover-up method. I'm going to ignore the y part. This part, I'm just going to ignore. What's left is what I will solve. So I have 3x equals 12. If I solve that, just divide by 3, divide by 3, x equals 4. All right. Now, and if I need the coordinate, that's really 4, 0. Okay, now I'm going to solve for the y part. Keep the sign, cover the x part. This is a -2y equals 12. Algebra says divide both sides by -2. Y equals -6, or if I need the coordinate, it'll be 0, -6. Now their answer choices, let's see. The first one's the coordinate, 4, -6. That's wrong. We don't want that. That's the point that's not even on the x or y axis. This next one says 4 and -6, I mean. That's the answer. That's saying that's one answer, this is another answer. Right? F is saying they're together. H is totally wrong, and J is in the wrong order. Find x first, y second. 7. Find the slope of line that passes through those 2 points. Just do the slope formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I gotta label this to make sure I don't mess up. Alright, I plug it in. y2 is 8 minus y1 is 6. x2 is negative 7 minus x1 is 2. 8 minus 6 is 2. Negative 7 minus 2 is negative 9. That's my answer. That would be C. Nine. What is the slope of that line? Ooh. Remember, the slope is always attached to x. This is y equals 0x minus 2. So the slope here is 0. But say you didn't know that. You can always graph it. Use calculator. Y equals negative 2 is this line. If the line is flat sideways, it's always 0. If it's up and down, that's undefined. And you know if it's going uphill, that's positive. Downhill is negative. So that one's 0. What is the slope of a line? Parallel to that graph. Alrighty. To do this, there's a couple ways to do this. I'm going to do the way that I always do it. To find the slope, you need 2 points. So this is standard form. It's good for finding the x and y intercepts. Those are 2 points. So the cover-up method, I ignore that. I saw that equation. 2x equals 5. Just divide both sides by 2. X equals 5 halves. So the x-intercept is 5 halves, comma 0. I now try to find the y-intercept. I cover that. So positive 3y equals 5. Algebra just says divide both sides by 3. Y equals 5/3. So the y-intercept is 0 5/3. Once you have 2 points, you do the slope equation. So m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm going to label this. I'll call this x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2 is 5/3 minus y1 is 0, easy, over x2 is 0 minus x1 is 5 halves. Now I'm going to use a calculator for this. So here's a calculator. I'll just put it in. It's a fraction. Inside of the first thing is also a fraction. 5 over 3 minus 0. Bottom is 0 minus a fraction. 5 over 2. Enter. I get negative 2/3. That's the answer. It is B. 9 is B. Good. Alright, 11 or 10. Find the graph of the line through 2, 3 that's perpendicular to the line. Alright, this problem's pretty mean. It says perpendicular to the line y equals negative 1. That slope is 0. 0 slope is horizontal. Perpendicular horizontal is vertical, up and down, undefined. So they're telling me what line has no undefined slope, so up and down, vertical line, that also goes to 2, 3. So right 2, up 1, 2, 3. Right here, it has to have a vertical line up and down because it's undefined. So, well, that's 2, 3. This is, that's really bad, but 2, 0. Somewhere in there is 2, 1. Somewhere up there is 2, 10. Something on here is 2, negative 3. But notice, the x is always 2, and the y can change. So this is going to be h. Again, y equals negative 1 is this line. Perpendicular to that would be straight up and down. That's why I had to do up and down undefined slope. 12. Write an equation slope-intercept form of the line that has a slope of negative 4. Pass through that. If you have a slope and you have a point, you do point-slope form. Remember, that's y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. Label your points. I'm going to call this x1, y1. And I'll just fill it in. So y minus y1, which is 2, equals our m, our slope, -4. X minus x1 is 1. Just do some algebra. So y minus 2 equals, distribute this here, -4x plus 4. And then add 2 to both sides. Y equals 4x plus 6. That's the answer. 4x plus 6. Oh, sorry, -4x plus 6. Yeah. So that is B. 11 is B. Good. Alright, 12. Write an equation slope-intercept form for a line that passes those 2 points. I always need a slope, so I gotta find the slope first. So slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'll fill it in. x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2 is 7 minus y1 is -2 over x2 is 3 minus x1 is 1. Minus negative makes it positive. 7 plus 2 is 9. 3 minus 1 is 2. That's my slope. Once you have the slope, you pick a point. It doesn't matter which one. So I am going to pick the one with no negative numbers. So I'll use 3, 7. So again, the formula for point slope forms, y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. I'm going to call this my x1, my y1, and I just fill it in. Y minus y1 equals m, 9/2 of x minus x1. And do some algebra. Y minus 7 equals, distribute this, 9/2 x minus 27 over 2. And then last, add 7. You can use a calculator for that. So 9/2 x, that's 14. So that's minus 13 over 2. That's the answer. That is 9/2 x minus 13 over 2. That is F. Good. Alright, write the equation in slope-intercept form for a line that passes through that and is parallel to the line whose equation is that. Grr. Okay, let's do this. This is standard form. 4x minus y equals 3. Now you can do 2 points, find the x, y intercepts, and then do slope formula. Or sometimes it's better to just change it into slope-intercept form, meaning get y equals. If I want y by itself, I'm going to add y to both sides. So 4x equals 3 plus y. I want y by itself, I'm going to subtract 3. So I have 4x minus 3 equals y, or some of y'all like to see it as y equals 4x minus 3. We know the slope is next to x. Slope is m. The slope is 4. Right? If I did the x, y intercept and did the slope formula, I'll get 4. So I know from that m equals 4. And I have the point 0, 5. Well, that's the y-intercept. That's awesome. So b is 5. I can now use slope-intercept form. That's y equals mx plus b. Well, I just filled out y equals m is 4x and b is positive 5. So 4x is 5. That is D. All right, 15. Table below shows the relationship between height and growing times for 5 plants. Use a scatter plot, draw a line fit, describe the correlation. All right, that one I'm going to do on the next one because I'm running out of time. So just watch the next video for number 14.